friends. Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello, hi. Candle of the day, pink lemonade. Ooh. Sorry, I can't get over that. That was like an in real life audience reaction. Anyway, hi. So today's video, we are going to be discussing a topic that I feel very strongly about and one that I'm really excited not only to just like make a video about, it was super fun to script, but also I'm very excited to hear what you guys think about this topic because this sort of phenomenon that I want to talk about today is definitely a newer thing. This isn't something that was really happening before, I would argue, like 2006. So that may seem like a long time ago, but in like the scheme of life, that's nothing. I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were talking about how like if the existence of the earth was in calendar days and years, humans would show up at like 11:59 on December 31st because we take up such a small amount of the existence of the earth, and I have not stopped thinking about it since I heard that. Anyway, today's video is about the dangers of going viral. That was just a quick peek into my mind. Today I really want to talk about sort of the dangers of going viral. There was one kind of instance that happened about a month ago that made this topic really interesting to me, and ever since then I've sort of just been developing this concept. And I think the main thing that's so interesting to me is just number one, how many different ways it can happen, and number two, how unintentional it can be nowadays. I feel like when platforms like MySpace or Facebook or YouTube or Twitter first started, there was a lot of people that were going viral. Don't take a shot every time I say viral, please. Only of water. Cheers. Ever since the creation of those apps, I feel like a lot of people have been going viral with the intention of going viral. Like you would post a video to YouTube hoping it would get millions of views. You would hop on a Twitter trend or quote tweet something with like a little funny retort, hoping that a lot of people would see it. But with the way a lot of social media algorithms work now, particularly TikTok, it's incredibly easy to go viral totally unintentionally. And I think it's really important to talk about the consequences of what going viral can do to a person. I think for a long time, the idea of doing something that was really outlandish and crazy just to get views on a video or clicks on a post seen as something that a lot of people really wanted to do. Like you had people like Ray Scum, Jake and Logan Paul. You had that guy that opened an ice cream thing in a store, licked it, and then put it back in the middle of a pandemic. You have the girl who licked a toilet seat during the pandemic. You have the same girl who licked the toilet seat making up lies about Kanye West and Jeffree Star having a secret love affair. Like these types of things have been happening and people are doing these really outlandish, out there things for attention and virality simply because viral moments equal money if you know what you're doing. There are a lot of content creators who have purely made their platform just based around doing the most crazy out-of-pocket thing you can think of that will garner all of this outrage that will in turn put money directly into their pockets. And honestly, I think that for those people who consent to that and who consent to being these sort of outrage machines that build their platforms off of doing all of this crazy stuff to make money, if they don't care about the after effects for them, then I don't see a problem with that in concept. The problem with those people usually ends up being that they do something that harms other groups or communities. They do something that harms the health of other people. But in theory, I think the idea of, okay, I want to be really famous for any reason, doesn't matter what the reason, I want to go viral. I don't think in concept that is a bad thing until they start hurting other people. Those people are consenting to that and they are consenting to having millions of people have this opinion about them, and that is truly what they think that they want. The problem comes in when people unintentionally start going viral and unintentionally have millions of eyes on them, unintentionally have millions of opinions suddenly about who they are as people. And I think that is when you start to get into some sort of dangerous territory of like, have social media platforms almost become too accessible to the point where a person can just be a normal everyday person one day, and then next day you have like news anchors on E! News weighing in on if your boyfriend is cheating on you or not. Like, I think that's an interesting thing to talk about. Before we jump in, today's video is sponsored by Way. I love them. Thank you for the sponsor. sponsorship, and let's play that now. Hi friends, Editing Me here, and today's video is sponsored by Ouai. You guys know I've been talking about Ouai for forever. They're one of my favorite hair care brands. They have so many amazing products, and today I wanted to share with you a few of the ones that I've been particularly loving this past month. So one of the things I wanted to recommend this month is the Ouai Finishing Cream. If I've just gotten out of the shower, I always put this in my hair if I'm gonna do any sort of like blowout or styling. I just feel like it gives your hair that really nice, beautiful shine. And because this is a heat protectant, it makes sure that your hair is also staying safe when you use it, so I love that. Also, my scalp has been struggling. So the Ouai scalp and body scrub has been phenomenal. I'd never used a scalp scrub until I used this product, and it was one of my favorite things. It's like a little luxurious treat. I use it like once a week. This is particularly the special edition St. Bart's one, and the smell, it smells like you're at a freaking resort. It smells so good, and it makes your scalp feel so good, so exfoliated. It turns into this really wonderful like lather that just makes everything feel more soft. This has absolutely helped with any sort of dandruff that I can typically get this time of year. So this is a life-saving product for the winter. And additionally, I want to talk about this product, which is the texturizing hairspray. I use this today on my curls. Ouai has a lot of products that really help with making sure that your hair can be like fuller, bouncier. And this is one that I love to use after I do my curls. I find a little bit of this, you just sort of spray it on and then zhuzh everything up. It just makes everything feel a little bit more full, sort of that like supermodel blowout glow. Like that's how I like to describe it, where it just leaves my hair feeling really good. And the other thing I love about this is it's not super sticky. So you know how sometimes you'll use a hairspray and it'll almost make your hair feel kind of crunchy? This does the opposite. It makes your hair still feel like hair and still move and feel real, but it also holds your curls into place nicely and gives you just that little bit of extra volume. Also, honorable mention to the leave-in conditioner spray. I didn't want to talk about it this month because I talk about it every month, but oh my God, do I love the leave-in conditioner spray. It is literally gold. To discover a new way of life with cruelty-free, sulfate and paraben-free hair care, body care, and fragrance products, go to theouai.com and use code SMOKEY to get 15% off your entire purchase. That is 15% off your entire purchase if you go to theouai.com and use code SMOKEY. Thank you so much to Ouai for sponsoring this video, making sure my hair and scalp do not dry out in this cold weather. And let's jump into the video. I think there are a lot of examples of going viral and people who kind of get a really bad rap for it, people who aren't able to monetize it, people who didn't expect it, people who face really negative backlash for it. And I also think there are people that it happens to that are able to turn it into something positive, are able to turn it into a career. Like I think there's two kinds. So the first kind I want to talk about is sort of the kind that I think people, it's just like literally normal people who have no interest in being on social media. And I think you can't really make a video talking about the sort of dangers of going viral without talking about Couch Guy. Okay, I don't even know, if you don't have a TikTok account, I don't even know how to begin explaining this whole Couch Guy thing to you guys, because it was wild. Like a few months ago, this was everywhere. I have never seen something like this happen before. Basically, there was a trend going around on TikTok, and TikTok as an app and algorithm, everything is pretty much solely based on trend. People will use the same sound over and over again. If I had to guess, obviously people don't know the exact algorithm of TikTok, but if I had to guess, the algorithm works based off of these sounds because you see the same sounds over and over again of people doing this same trend. And a while ago, there was this trend where there was that song playing that's just like that. Oh, you're free. Oh, you feel. Okay, it was that song. And as you can probably tell from my beautiful rendition, it was just so spot on. The whole point of the trend was that you play that song in the background and you show a really cute moment with like you and your significant other. So you had, you know, people coming home from the military and their significant other greeting them. You had people at their weddings. Like it was a really fun, cool trend, right? And then a college student named Lauren, I'm not gonna say her last name, I know it's like public info, but I feel like the hype from this is dying down. I do not want to contribute to anybody giving this girl any more unsolicited advice, but this young college student named Lauren used this sound, and she basically was using it as a way to like show that she surprised her boyfriend. And she has this suitcase, she's in a hallway, the doors in the college dorm room for some reason are these like fluorescent green doors. She walks into the room and the guy doesn't even really seem that excited. Like, he's like, oh, hey, what's up? He's like, what? This is crazy. And he gives her a hug. You think about that and you're like, that's pretty nothing. Like, it's literally a girl and a guy. They're like 20 years old. They're dating. They're long distance. She surprised him. He wasn't super hype, but like, whatever. When I tell you this turned into a fucking shit show, I have never in my life seen so many TikToks about a singular topic. I am pretty sure that we could land on Mars and I would not see as many TikToks as were made about this situation. First of all, there's a few points of contention here. Number one, the guy was sitting on a couch with, I think, 2 or 3 other girls. He has a hair tie on his wrist. That is a girl's hair tie. At one point, there was literally like TikTok FBI agents slow-moing the video to see if the girl who was sitting directly next to the boy was getting handed his phone back, as if she was holding his phone, which, as we all know, if you're holding someone's phone, you're cheating. And not only that, but there was so much conversation around the girls in the video that were friends with the boyfriend and kind of how they were snakes and they were secretly trying to get with him and they weren't happy that the girl was there. There was a lot of talk about the other guys who were sort of in on the surprise, setting up this guy to get caught with these girls. All of this speculation, right? And when I say all of the speculation, currently on TikTok, the hashtag couch guy has 1.4 billion views under it. 1.4 billion views on videos with the hashtag couch guy. Do you know how insane that is? That many people were watching, engaging, and consuming in this content, speculating about 2 20-year-olds dating. And it gets even worse because the girl, Lauren, started making videos defending herself and her relationship. She was basically like, hey, we saw each other like a few weeks ago. That's why he wasn't that excited to see me. Like, we're not that long distance, so it makes sense that he wasn't super hype and like jumping up and down the way you see some people do. I'm friends with the girls that were in this video. Like, I know them. They are not sleeping with him, whatever. And really what ended up happening was everybody took this situation, this 15-second snippet, and projected all of the pain they have ever felt in any relationship onto these 2 people. Like, it was literally like all of these people were making TikToks responding to it being like, I've had friends like those girls that were sitting on the couch next to him. They are not your friends. They're secretly trying to get with him. All of these girls making videos like, I've been that girl before and my boyfriend wasn't happy for me and that means that you should dump him and that he's terrible. And then the worst part was the guy in the video, who wasn't even the original poster, like it was his girlfriend, he started making TikToks defending himself and he was basically being like, this is bullshit that you all think you know me and know our relationship based off a 15-second clip. And everybody was in the comments trashing him, like calling him horrible names, being terrible to him, and saying that he was a cheater, saying all of this stuff about a phone being passed between the 2 of them, asking about the hair tie he had on his wrist. Here's the thing at the end of the day about like the couch guy situation. The real truth of the matter is like something sus could totally be happening. The internet could be right. Like maybe this guy is cheating on his girlfriend. Maybe he was passing his phone because that's an indicator of sex. Like maybe that all was happening, but at the end of the day, this 20-year-old girl does not deserve to be roasted because that's what you all think is happening. She was getting tons of comments. She went on a podcast and tried to defend herself, and the comments on that podcast are just people tearing her apart for being stupid and naive, all because she's like defending the person she's known for the past year and being like, he's not cheating on me and I can't just say he's doing that because the internet is telling me so. Lauren, when all of this started, had like no followers on TikTok. So what I'm assuming is she thought this would be like a cute little video that could be posted that like maybe some of her friends would see, and that would be that on that. But it turned into this meme on TikTok where people were recreating, you know, the scene where she's like walking in with this suitcase and their partner is like obviously cheating on them. There were businesses that were hopping on this trend and making like parody videos mocking this girl. And it ended up being this sort of weird 2 weeks where all of these millions and millions of people were just trying to convince this girl that they randomly saw on the internet. This girl wasn't famous. She's not even a freaking content creator. She just literally is a random girl who goes to a random college in the United States. The fact that it was so easy for hashtag couch guy to blow up, and the fact that it was so easy for it not only to blow up, but then in turn for people to immediately give their opinions on the situation via comments and video responses, which in turn got more hype for the situation, got more people involved for it, is craziness. And also the fact that it just became such a massive, like even articles from like news organizations were written about this situation, which I will again remind you was a 20-year-old surprising her boyfriend at college. Like the fact that this got turned into national media news coverage is bananas. The next exhibit I want to talk about is someone where I feel like this is a little bit more, not that they deserved it, because this person got a lot of shit. This is a different example of like how a small business can sort of explode on TikTok. Now, I think that TikTok is really heavily used for small businesses in a really positive way. I have actually found a ton of small businesses that I buy from at like 3 in the morning when I'm aimlessly scrolling through TikTok through the algorithm that TikTok has, because it really does show you stuff that you're gonna be interested in seeing and businesses that are selling stuff that you're interested in. There was a TikTok created by a user named Kelly who goes by That Balloon Girl on TikTok. She owns a small business where basically she creates these balloon arches for like parties. They're like really colorful balloons. I don't really get it, but like whatever. I think one of the really interesting parts about small business TikTok is the way that unlike with larger corporations, they feel the need because it's like just them, they're an independent business owner. A lot of these smaller businesses really feel the need to like defend themselves against negative comments in a way that most businesses would never really have to do unless you're like responding to a Yelp comment. Like that's the only comparable thing I can think of. They're basically responding to people who have never tried the product, never used the product, and trying to prove them wrong or dispute them or clap back at them. And I think a big reason that small businesses sort of clapping back at mean commenters has become so popular on TikTok is mostly because, again, the TikTok algorithm lends itself to those types of things going viral. Like, I feel like the TikTok algorithm and YouTube algorithm are very similar in that sense, where it's like drama gets views. Like, that's always how it's been on these sort of social media platforms. That's not really a surprise. What was more surprising was the response to That Balloon Girl. So somebody commented that her pricing was crazy, showed her process of how she makes these balloon letters, and then said they challenge somebody to make them in the same amount of time that she makes them and cheaper. And TikTok did that. There's this feature on TikTok where you can duet videos, which means that the person's original video is here on one side of the screen, your video, whatever you're recording, is on the other side of the screen. A lot of people duetted this video and basically did the thing. They did they made the letters, they made the balloon letters, some of the times faster and a lot of times for cheaper than what she was claiming it took her to make them. They were using tons of different materials, getting really creative with it. Some beautiful balloon art came out of the situation, but Balloon Girl became viral and a lot of people, again, were being really negative towards her. They were mad at her attitude. They felt like her attitude about the whole situation was super annoying. They felt like the fact that she thought she was so special because she could make balloon letters was super bad. Her comments were basically just getting flooded with people hating on her. And I think that this is kind of another good example of how a lot of small businesses like hope to blow up on TikTok because they know that that is a way to get a lot of business. But it's also a very fast way to kill your small business. The amount of small businesses I have seen just self-implode because they don't know how to handle the sort of rapid rate at which they get comments and also the negativity that those comments contain because they're not used to that. Because on other social media platforms, it's not as easy for people to just find them and randomly leave a mean comment. It's kind of astounding. There's been planner companies I've followed where the owner just like completely self-destructs on TikTok and just starts yelling at commenters, yelling at clients, yelling at people who are saying they haven't gotten their order. I've seen makeup companies, especially a lot of small makeup companies, act completely unprofessionally and like yell at customers, yell at clients, clap back at clients, try to justify their pricing and in turn kind of come off wrong to their consumer base. I'm like couch guy and girl who wanted none of this. This girl did want this, but I don't think that she was adequately adequately prepared as a small business owner to deal with the backlash that happens when you are a small business and people start just hating you as a business owner, hating you as a person. I think my final example would be green sink bathroom TikTok. And if that sentence makes you upset, it's okay. There's a girl on TikTok named Grace who recently unintentionally went viral. Grace was trying to DIY her bathroom. She was trying to do what she had seen the internet do before, which is perform these like beautiful at-home DIYs that totally transform a space. I identify with Grace. I too think that I can do more than I can. This whole saga turned into Grace make her own stencil to put on her tiles to paint them. She painted her countertop green and then in turn tried to paint the sink bowls green. It was weeks of her trying to then scrape that paint off. It ended up just being a complete disaster. Like, I will show some of the videos here, but this was like a DIY gone horribly wrong. But something that I personally loved about these videos, which I think is because I identify with this, I loved how just like unapologetic Grace was. Like, she was just like, yeah, I know I'm not supposed to be painting the sink with this. This is what I have, so I'm just gonna try it. And like, it would look bad, and then she'd be like, well, that looked bad. Better try again. There was something inherently relatable about that to me, especially as somebody who also sucks at DIYs, that I actually really enjoyed her videos, but apparently I was in the minority because her comments were filled with people hating on her, telling her how much anxiety that she gave them, telling her how awful what she was doing was, telling her all the things she did wrong. And finally, Grace opened up and was basically like, I've had a traumatic brain injury. I'm a very impulsive person. This is just who I am. And then it was like all of a sudden the tides switched and all of a sudden everybody loved Grace and they were like, she has a traumatic brain injury. That's the reason that she's like this. And then she had to get on her TikTok again and be like, no, I wasn't trying to be the poster child for traumatic brain injuries. I was just saying, like, maybe don't take something like a bathroom renovation so seriously. And I think at the core of a lot of these three examples, that is like the core issue, especially with Couch Guy and Green Bathroom Girl. Like, a lot of these situations truly just became something that was like, it was never that deep. It's a green sink. Like, it's not your sink. Who cares? It's a guy sitting on a couch. It's not your boyfriend. Why do you care? I think that naturally poses the question of like, why do people care so much? Why do people care so much about these very sort of mundane things to the point where these people that are accidentally going viral are being harassed and attacked by millions of people? Like, why does this stuff strike a nerve? And here's the thing, is that I don't think that this is like new. People who create content purposefully on the internet and who have been intentionally trying to go viral for years, they face this same type of criticism. I mean, depending on how well they are going viral, they face it on an even bigger scale than the ones that I've talked about. YouTubers talk all the time about how they'll post videos with their boyfriends and then people will just heavily project in the comments that their boyfriends actually hate them, or that their boyfriends are terrible, or that the YouTuber is terrible to their boyfriend. YouTubers will show their home and everyone will just basically say how ugly and terrible it is and how they've ruined the house and how they did a horrible job. This type of criticism on the internet is not a new thing. I think the reason it's so jarring to see is that now it's not happening to people who want it to happen to them. When you kind of sign up for this whole social media thing, I would argue the very first thing that anybody who was doing YouTube before me told me was, you're gonna get terrible comments and you just have to deal with it. It's a part of the job. It's just what it is. Like, there's no way around it. There's no way to not get terrible comments. It is what it is. The only thing you can control is how it affects you. And if it affects you too much to the point where like you can't move forward, then you just shouldn't do social media. Like, that's literally what people would tell me when I was first starting. They'd be like, if you can't handle this, you should just get out now because it's only going to get worse. People now, especially on platforms like TikTok, where it is so easy to go viral and have millions of people see your content, they are not posting them painting their bathroom floor or them making a balloon arch or them surprising their boyfriend. They're not posting those things with that in mind. They're not posting it with this idea that like, well, millions of people should see this, and if I'm not prepared for tons of hate and tons of backlash, I shouldn't even bother posting this in the first place. Nobody is thinking like that yet because this is still kind of a relatively new thing. The only thing I can think that's even slightly comparable to these situations would be like Rebecca Black when she did Friday, that song that came out where it just got brutally roasted. She was so incredibly bullied for it. The way that she's talked about it now, I think, is really brave. Even still, in the Friday Rebecca Black case, her parents paid that company to make her a music video because presumably that's what she wanted to do. Do I think a 12-year-old should have been facing that kind of abuse? No, but at least she sort of knew, like, okay, I want a lot of people to see this. I want to be famous. Like, that was her reasoning for doing it. The only really comparable, like, scenario I can think where people unintentionally become famous in the same way that TikTok is making people unintentionally famous, if you're thinking of, like, memes in the 2010s, like, there was that baby that, like, held up a fist. There was that little kid who, like, looked annoyed and was, like, really good at it. Stuff like that, like, is the only thing I can think of. And even if it's just, like, a picture or a video or something like that, I know people still deal with a lot of really brutal hate comments from that, but those are all kind of dispersed throughout the internet. Like, if somebody retweets a meme of you and they say something nasty, the chances of you seeing that are relatively low. On a place like TikTok, you're going viral, and not only is that all happening, there is a direct place for everybody who hates what you're doing to tell you. It's literally the equivalent of, like, if the person who became the meme was the original person who posted it, and then they also had a comment section. And I think there's an even more interesting part of this where it's not even these crazy viral things that, like, everyone's talking about. Like, it's not Couch Guy, but I cannot tell you how many times per day I am scrolling through TikTok and I hear the sentence, "I didn't think that would go viral. I didn't know that was gonna blow up." Because of the way TikTok is set up, again, it's all based on trends, and people just hop on a trend thinking their 10 friends are gonna see it, and then suddenly it has 5 million views and everyone's asking for more details, more context. The worst is there's a ton of, like, storytelling trends on TikTok. So it'll be like a sound, and then if somebody puts a story, like, sentence by sentence over the sound, sort of like acting it out. And a lot of times those stories are really deeply personal to people. And again, they're just posting them the same way that you would post on Facebook. Like, you think only your friends are really going to be seeing this content, engaging with this content. Maybe a random, you know, mutual will see it, but, like, they won't care. And then they have millions of people demanding that they explain, demanding they expand upon their trauma, demanding that they get answers, demanding they get a part 2. And that in and of itself is yet again putting everyday people on blast in a way that they really were not prepared for or signed up for when they signed up to join TikTok. I do think it's important to say, because even though I know I'm only talking about, like, the negative side effects right now, I did say there were more positive stories, and I think those are worth highlighting too, because TikTok has jump-started the careers of lots of people. I mean, I think the most immediate example that comes to mind is Noodle the Pug, who is, if you don't know what this is, again, I don't know how to explain it to you, but there's this 13-year-old dog, Noodle, who's from Rochester. Hit me up, let's collab. Noodle's from Rochester, and Noodle, who's a 13-year-old pug, has an owner, and the owner basically just said, like, some days my dog wakes up and he has bones and he stands up and he's ready to go, and other days I pick him up and I put him on his feet and he just flops back over, and I call it a bones day or a no bones day. And so every day he started being like, is it a bones day today or is it a no bones day today? And if it's a no bones day, you're supposed to relax, and if it's a bones day, you're supposed to, like, get going and, like, it's gonna be a good day for you, whatever. That's the whole thing. I can't believe I just explained all this. Sometimes making YouTube videos feels like I'm, like, FaceTiming with my grandma. I'm like, okay, so there's this dog named Noodle. Anyway, Noodle the Pug is a great example of someone going viral and it being just, like, a very wholesome, fun thing. People love the Bones or No Bones Day. It's a super fun thing. I think it's kind of, the trend is dying out a little bit now, but, like, for a minute there, it was all about, like, is Noodle the Pug having a Bones Day? Like, this is great. It was a way for people to sort of unify. It was, like, almost like checking his horoscope every day. Like, it was super fun. The guy who does it is this super nice guy who just, like, loves his dog, totally understands people are just there for, like, the Bones, No Bones Day. He appreciates that, whatever. And I think that's wonderful. Those are, like, some very, like, weirdly beautiful community bonding things that have come out of TikTok. Is, like, Noodle the Pug is a great shining example of, like, we can all just come together and decide if it's a Bones Day or a No Bones Day. And I think that's great. Another good example would be Brittany Broski, who a lot of you probably know as Kombucha Girl. She had a sort of video, I think it was on TikTok. It was on TikTok. She had a TikTok go viral where she was reacting to her first time trying kombucha, and she made all these funny faces and she said these really funny reactions that were very easy to screen grab and put 2 funny captions. She basically became a meme in a more common sense. And she was able to build a whole career on that. She has millions of followers across all of her social media platforms. She said that she was able to quit her job. She was able to make a ton of money doing what she does. She has a ton of fans. People really love her. Like the fact that she was able to monetize a meme and turn it into a business, and not only that, but a successful business where she is likely making a lot of money just like being an internet personality now, I think is a really cool thing. And that's something I do love about the internet. I love that you can post something funny, you can be a funny person or a person with a talent, you can post something, and it's a way to sort of jumpstart this career that you always wanted. In instances where people are doing things that are really wholesome or people are doing things that they really are passionate about, I will never say that the way that social media has made it so easy for people to become viral is a bad thing, but I think it's important to not only discuss sort of the positive stories that come out of that success, but also talk about the negative stories. You have these young people who are experiencing intense amounts of criticism and hatred, and what that would do to like your mind, especially at such a young age, receiving that much hate just for posting a 15-second clip of you surprising your boyfriend. Like, I can't imagine what that does to somebody's mind and mental state. And honestly, the problem doesn't even necessarily have a solution. I know that the natural response that a lot of people are going to have to this video is, well, if you don't want to accidentally go viral, then just like don't post on TikTok. Don't post anything. Like anything could go viral, so don't post anything if you're not ready for that. But I'm not really satisfied with that solution. Number one, apps like TikTok have really become sort of similar to Instagram and Twitter, especially for like Gen Z, really young people. I mean, they post on that app as a way to keep up with their friends, update their friends. It's become less of just a viewing website in the way that like maybe YouTube is, and has become much more about posting content, even if you don't consider yourself like a content creator. And because the TikTok algorithm is so unreal, it's really hard to sort of predict if a person is going to go viral or if a person's video is going to get 10 views or 10 million views. I would say like 99% of the time, the video is going to get 10 views. Nobody's going to see it. It's a totally safe space to just share stuff with your friends. But the problem becomes that 1% of the time when a video unintentionally hits that amount of views. I also think another really big problem that happens is there's this sort of glamorization of going viral on social media. There's this sort of mindset of like, well, even if I'm in a scandal and people are mad at me and they hate me, it doesn't matter because I'm so rich and I'm profiting so much off of this and I'm making so much money and blah, blah, blah. Like, even if I'm in a scandal, who cares? Even if people hate me, who cares? And there's this, look at this new bag I bought because somebody called me stupid online. Like, there's this glamorization of going viral. And I think there's, in turn, this sort of glamorization of social media as a career in general. And I think that because there's this sort of glamour around all of it, a lot of people don't realize the realities of that situation. When I was a kid, I literally used to tell people that I wanted to grow up and I wanted to be a singer and a diva and an actress and a dancer, and like that was what I wanted to be when I grew up. And everybody looked at me and was like, okay, good luck, because that wasn't likely. That wasn't a possibility really for me. That wasn't like as attainable as a goal. But now you have kids saying, I want to be a TikToker when I grow up. I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up. And I think that makes sense. Like, all of the people they're watching are YouTubers. The reason I wanted to be a singer was because I watched freaking Lizzie McGuire sing in Rome and get to kiss Gordo. And I thought that was amazing. Like, it makes sense that all these kids want to be YouTubers or TikTokers when they grow up. But the difference there is that the chances of them actually being able to do that, at least to some degree of success, are significantly higher. And because social media is so accessible, and because quite literally anybody can do it, anybody with a phone or a camera and internet access can do it, because it is so accessible to a lot of different people, and because a lot of people don't take it seriously and just see it as another way to socialize the way you would on Facebook. And all of these young people are seeing their favorite celebrity creators having so much success and having so much fun with being viral, they want that too, and they don't realize the realities of what that can be like. Kind of combine this glamorization of going viral with people who unintentionally are going viral and not understanding what they're doing and not understanding the consequences and are treating TikTok like Facebook, where now you have a whole bunch of people being bullied by millions of other people simply for like wearing a shirt or doing something innocuous that people found worthy of criticism. I genuinely feel like, and I know I've said this before, but I really feel like right now we're in a very interesting time, especially when it comes to social media and social media culture. And I genuinely feel like in like the next 10 to 15 years, you know how now they talk about like, be careful what you post on things like Facebook or stuff like that. And they talk about it with TikTok too. Like I had a lot of conversations when I worked in schools with my kids being like, stop posting on TikTok, make that private, stop posting. Like I did, because it scared me that like the kids that I worked with, I knew what it was like. I knew the ease at which young kids could go viral. I knew how dangerous that could be for them. And so I made all of my kids go on private. I don't think they all, you know, kept their promise, but I mean, there's conversation about it in schools. People are trying to let other people know how to navigate the online world safely and how to make sure that you're not posting things that could potentially cause you stress or cause you problems getting a job in the future or anything like that. But at the same time, I think to make the argument that it's like, well, just don't post on social media at all, I don't think it's a realistic argument. We live in a world that is heavily revolving around social media, especially for young people. It is their primary way that they can be creative and communicate with their peers. So it's not that I think people need to stop posting entirely. And I don't think a lot of people are gonna like this ending, but I think it's the truth. I think it's mostly that like sometimes us older folk like me, I'm 26, I'm not old, but I'm definitely older than like a 25-year-old. I think sometimes we need to get a fucking grip. This isn't scripted. This wasn't on my script, but like seriously, I feel like a major reason that a lot of this is happening is because I see older people just trying to dunk on young kids with the knowledge that they think they have over these kids. That was like the couch guy situation in a nutshell. Genuinely felt like they knew better than these two young people and were trying to adamantly convince this girl that she was being cheated on. Honestly, instead of trying to get kids to stop using social media or to stop trying to be creative on social media or to stifle their usage of social media, which is like really not going to happen, it's not realistic, I think it would be much better to teach kids and adults the importance of like being kind on social media, because none of this would be a problem in the first place if millions of people didn't blow these situations so far out of proportion. It's one thing to like make a joke. I get why the couch guy thing became so funny because it was like memes were made of it. Like I understand all of that. I think a meme and a joke is something everyone can take. But sending the guy who was in the video death threats, sending the girl like horrific messages saying she's a terrible person for staying with him and she's so desperate and awful, it's crossing lines and crossing boundaries. And I know that this one video is not going to change the culture on the internet. I understand that the internet is like this gigantic beast. It's basically like Pandora's box. Like we've opened it, it's been released, there's really no going back now. I get all of that, but I do try in my personal life to just like not say something if I think something when it comes to just random strangers who are just posting for no reason. Again, like I even get it with influencers, obviously. Like I make videos about other influencers. I get it when it's like people who have a platform, people who have signed up for this level of success, people who are actively profiting off of this success. But Couch Guy and Couch Girlfriend, they got over 1 billion views all over TikTok, and I guarantee you they didn't make a cent from that TikTok going viral. And if they did make money, it was probably like $100 because they didn't already have a platform, they weren't profiting off of anything, and they don't deserve your criticism for just being normal human beings who are doing nothing wrong. Maybe let's just like stop being mean to people who don't do anything wrong. It's a very unsatisfying ending because it's like, well, just stop being mean. But it's like, I don't know, that's like really the only solution that I see. I'm really curious to know your guys' thoughts on this whole topic about Couch Guy and Green Sink Girl and Balloon Girl and everybody. Like, I'm so interested to know what you guys think about this topic. I hope it was interesting. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant for that last 5 minutes. That was off the script. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that in, but we'll see how much I liked it in post. But I love you guys so much. Let me know what you think about this topic down below. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked in the little products tag down below. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!